Picture the scene. It's Sunday afternoon. There's cheesecake on the table, the coffee pot is already on its second round, and the whole family is gathered around, the way they have been every single Sunday for as long as you can remember. Uncle Herb is explaining, for the fifth time, chest puffed out with pride, that his savings account is now earning a whopping 2% interest. Aunt Ernie nods approvingly as she stirs her coffee, clearly impressed. And then every eye at the table turns to you, like someone secretly unplugged the stereo. So, Uncle Herb asks with a smug grin, how's that magic internet money doing? Has the bubble popped yet? You take a sip of coffee to buy yourself some time trying to figure out where to even start. Do you explain the Cantillon effect, hash rate, digital scarcity, the stock-to-flow ratio? You look around at their faces and realize instantly you might as well explain quantum physics in Mandarin. So you just smile and someone quickly changes the subject back to Uncle Herb's 2%. Welcome to your reality. You're the first Bitcoiner in your family. It's an absolutely wild ride, and by the end, you could become a legend. But more on that later. For the older generation, the rule is brutally simple. Wealth has to hurt when you drop it on your foot. A house, a gold bar, a crisp bill in your hand. If you can't touch it, polish it, or dust it, it doesn't exist. For them, that faded bank book stamped by the local bank branch is the absolute, unshakable truth. The same truth their parents believed and their grandparents believed before that. For us, though, the concept of digital ownership is completely normal. We grew up in a world where half of life happens behind glowing screens, where friendships, careers, and entire businesses exist online without anyone questioning whether they're real. The idea that money, our most important tool for communicating value, could also be a pure tamper-proof data protocol on the internet isn't crazy to us. It's simply the next logical step in evolution. But try explaining that to someone who still thinks the internet itself is a passing fad, and that's exactly where it happens. The ultimate boss battle of every family gathering. The holy grail of traditional financial wisdom. Son, why don't you buy something solid, real estate, a nice little starter condo out in the suburbs? They really do mean well. But what they're actually suggesting is this. Tie your entire net worth to one single location and make yourself completely dependent on a government you already don't trust. You buy a property, and from then on, you're at the mercy of whatever politicians decide next. You get to hope property taxes don't suddenly spike, that there's no surprise HOA special assessment or code-mandated renovation that costs you half a fortune, that the county doesn't rezone the lot next door, and that nobody ever passes some emergency wealth tax that claws back the last of your hard-earned equity. And when you reply that you'd rather save in the hardest, most portable, most secure network humanity has ever built, one you can carry in your head when you move, one no zoning board or tax assessor can touch, well, then they look at you like you just announced you're joining a cult that's waiting for a signal from aliens. But don't let it get to you, because this is only the beginning. Being the first in your bloodline is no relaxing Sunday stroll. It's an emotional marathon, and every Bitcoiner goes through 3 distinct phases. Buckle up, because you'll recognize yourself in every single one. Let's start with the hardest. Phase 1, the laughable lunatic. We're in the middle of a bear market. Prices are falling. The news declares Bitcoin dead for the 400th time, complete with the same tired chart and the same tired expert quoted every single time. During this stretch, you're the family idiot. Your brother-in-law suddenly starts sending you unsolicited links every morning to articles claiming Bitcoin is finally about to be banned for good. At family gatherings, people pat you on the shoulder with pity. Did you at least sell before you lost everything? Asks the cousin who put his savings into Beanie Babies back in the 90s and is still waiting for his first return. Someone else brings up the neighbor's kid who lost money on some meme coin. As if that proves your point wrong too? They seriously compare Bitcoin to Dutch tulip mania from the 17th century, even though they couldn't correctly Google the difference between a flower bulb and a decentralized cryptographic computer network. What do? You swallow your pride, you smile politely, you quietly slip off to the bathroom and buy a few more sats on your phone. You stop arguing, you go quiet. You become a ninja of extremely low time preference, but then the wind shifts. Get ready for the ultimate flip in dynamics, because now things get really fun. Suddenly the bull market breaks out. Bitcoin smashes its old all-time high and blows past headline-grabbing milestones one after another. The evening news, the newspapers, co-workers by the coffee machine, everyone's talking about it again, as if they'd been talking about it all along. And suddenly your phone starts ringing. Welcome to Phase 2. You are now the unofficial IT support for your entire extended family. It's Uncle Herb. Hey, say that crypto thing you always used to talk about? How exactly do you buy a whole Bitcoin? Can I do it through my bank? Or do I have to call up this blockchain place? Suddenly, you're not the family weirdo anymore. You're the finance guru, the Oracle of Omaha of your living room. You're no longer sitting quietly with your cheesecake on Sundays. You're desperately trying to explain to Aunt Ernie what a seed phrase is. And that's a real challenge with someone who has to reset her email password every single week because her dog's name, plus the number 1, is apparently too complicated to remember. You explain that with Bitcoin, you're your own bank and there's no friendly hotline to call if you lose those 12 words, no branch manager to reset anything for you. Faces around the table go noticeably pale. The idea of taking on real, uncensorable responsibility for your own money without a banker in a suit holding your hand is terrifying to most people. In this phase, you really start to see how revolutionary this network is. It ruthlessly separates the people who just want convenience from the people chasing real freedom. And there's one more phenomenon in this phase. Your cousin calls and asks if he should buy some new dog-themed coin instead, since Bitcoin is obviously way too expensive now, and besides, his coworker supposedly tripled his money in a week. You sigh deeply, rub your temples, and start the digital scarcity lecture all over again from scratch, knowing full well he'll call again in a month with a new coin and the exact same question. But what happens once you've weathered that loud, chaotic storm, once you've held for years through every high, every low, every crash, every doom headline, every well-meaning relative telling you to just take the profit already? Then you enter the final stage, legendary status. Fast forward 10, 15, 20 years. The old financial system has kept losing purchasing power through endless money printing and empty political promises. A full shopping cart at the grocery store looks like a luxury vacation. The slow-motion theft of inflation has become impossible for anyone to ignore, no matter how many times officials insist everything is under control. And you never caved. You held onto your assets through everything. Decades from now, at these family gatherings, you won't be sitting at the kids' table of questionable financial decisions anymore. You'll be the patriarch or matriarch of your entire family tree. Your great-grandkids will sit by the fireplace and tell stories about you. They'll say, back in the wild 2020s, when everyone else genuinely believed the money in their bank account was safe, Grandpa bought this digital money. Everyone laughed at him and called him crazy. But because he made that one decision, because he kept his nerve while everyone else panicked and sold at the bottom, we don't have to run on the hamster wheel today. At the end of the day, you're not just an investor. You're the architect of an entirely new foundation for your whole family. You're the crack in the matrix that permanently and irreversibly broke the curse of broken money for your bloodline. Don't get me wrong, being first is exhausting. The loneliness, the snide comments, the constant pushback, it wears on you more than you'd ever admit out loud at that table. But legends aren't born from doing what everyone else at the table found comfortable. They're born from enduring the uncomfortable back when nobody else could see the real potential. Because deep down, they knew that invisible ceiling everyone else blindly believed in was just a well-marketed illusion. You're building a bridge to a sovereign future, brick by brick, block by block, sat by sat. You endured the mockery. You understood what really matters. And you bought your first Bitcoin. Congratulations. But now the real game begins. There's an ironclad saying on Bitcoin Island that decides between life, freedom, and total ruin. Not your keys, not your coins. If after all that hard work you just leave your digital gold sitting on an exchange, you're not sovereign in any real sense. You've basically just switched banks and doubled your risk, trading a banker in a suit for a faceless company that could freeze your account, get hacked, or go bankrupt overnight. And you'd have absolutely no say in it. So how do you finally take real responsibility? How do you stop hackers, insolvent platforms, or your own dumb mistake from wiping out your hard-earned family wealth forever? In the next video, I'll show you step by step, with zero unnecessary jargon, how to store your Bitcoin so it's absolutely bulletproof. We'll build your own digital vault together, one so solid that not even a total government collapse or a house fire could ever take your financial freedom away from you again. Click the video right now or the link in the first comment. See you on the island!